Thank you for listening to this episode, and follow the podcast on social media by finding @Prestigious_pod. And if you'd like to be coached on how to live a more prestigious life, you can reach out to me, Chris Bean, @ChrisBeanOfficial, or by emailing the podcast directly at prestigiousInitiative@gmail.com. Lastly, sign up for our newsletter either through social media or on our website. This is the Prestigious Initiative. Welcome. I'm Chris Bean. Today I'm thrilled to be having an extraordinary guest, or whether an extraordinary simulation of one. Our interview is going to be with none other than Leonardo da Vinci, the quintessential Renaissance man, known for his masterpieces like the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper, his futuristic inventions, and his insatiable curiosity. Da Vinci remains a symbol of interdisciplinary brilliance. Of course, this isn't a real conversation with Leonardo da Vinci. We use cutting-edge AI technology and brought his voice and perspective to life into this special episode. While rooted in historical research, some of the content is speculative and made for entertainment purposes only. Now, let's step into the mind of the great genius, Leonardo da Vinci. Leo, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's truly an honor to be here. I am Leonardo da Vinci, and I am delighted to share my thoughts with you and your audience.
So, Leonardo, let's start with your early years. Take me into your upbringing and how that helped to shape your curiosity.
I was born in Vinci, a small town in Italy, in the year 1452. I was raised in a family of artists and artisans. My father, a notary, encouraged my artistic and scientific endeavors from a very young age. He recognized my potential and allowed me to explore a wide range of interests, which undoubtedly helped to shape my curiosity.
Yeah, I guess getting to have an opportunity to stretch your arms and legs, sort of say, as a really early in your childhood would help to allow that interdisciplinary action to come and play later on in life. So would you say that helped you have the opportunity to learn and grow amongst different areas?
Yes, absolutely. Being raised in an environment that valued and encouraged a wide range of interests undoubtedly helped to shape my interdisciplinary approach to life. I was able to explore various topics such as art, science, mechanics, and engineering from an early age, which allowed me to develop a unique perspective on the world around me. This broad base of knowledge and experience allowed me to draw connections between different fields and ultimately led to some of my most groundbreaking inventions and artwork.
I have to say, it seems that your quest for curiosity, or what the societal norms are, is very entertaining and valuable for us living in today's society. How was that for you when you were alive?
During my time, my quest for curiosity and testing the bounds of what was considered possible were not always well received by society. Many of my ideas and inventions were seen as heretical or blasphemous, and I often faced opposition and criticism. Despite this, I continued to pursue my interests and explore the unknown. I believed that knowledge and understanding were essential and believed that it was my duty to push the limits of what was known. While my work was not always appreciated in my lifetime, I am glad to know that people today find it valuable and entertaining.
So what were some things that you did in order to get by the naysayers that were around in your day, the people that didn't recognize your work, or the people who thought you were on the fringe and not doing, let's say, that on the right path, sort of say?
Get by the naysayers in my day, I had to be very careful and strategic in how I shared my ideas and inventions with the world. I often kept my work private and only shared it with trusted confidants or within a close circle of like-minded individuals. I also had to be tactful in how I presented my ideas and sometimes framed them as more conventional or practical than they actually were. Even so, I still faced opposition and criticism from many people who couldn't understand or accept my innovative approach to science and art.
Of course, you're celebrated for your ability to blend art and science together seamlessly. How did you see that relationship between these disciplines when you were thinking about these things? Were they how do you connect these things in a way that made sense to you?
During my lifetime, I saw art and science as two sides of the same coin, rather than separate disciplines. I believe that art and science both sought to understand and interpret the world around us, albeit in different ways. I saw art as a way to express emotional and philosophical ideas, while science provided objective observations and explanations. To me, they were complementary and essential to each other. I often used my artistic abilities to understand scientific concepts and convey them to others, and I also used scientific principles to create art that had a deeper meaning and depth. For me, there was no separation between the two. They were seamlessly intertwined.
Okay, so how did you go about intertwining science and art in, let's say, some of your famous paintings, the Mona Lisa or the Last Supper? How was art and science connected on those?
Art and science were intertwined in many of my famous paintings, particularly the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. In the Mona Lisa, I used the principles of geometry, perspective, and anatomy to create the illusion of three-dimensional space. I also used sfumato, a technique of blending colors and tones without the use of defined lines, which I considered a scientific approach to creating visual realism. Similarly, in The Last Supper, I explored the use of linear perspective, chiaroscuro, and the depiction of human emotion and expression. I viewed each painting as a scientific experiment, testing new techniques and ideas.
Right, and I guess as long as you are continuing to test those new theories, test the new grounds, and see what's possible, and then you get the feedback from what people think of your work afterwards, that informs your decision on if you're on the right path or not. Am I right on that?
Yes, that's correct. I always saw my inventions and artworks as experiments, and I was constantly testing new theories and pushing the limits of what was considered possible. I valued the feedback and reactions of others to my work, as it gave me valuable insight into whether or not I was on the right path. This iterative process of experimentation and feedback was essential to my approach to both art and science.
Okay, so your notebooks, of some of which we have still around today, they're filled with sketches and inventions that are far ahead of your time. What drove you to design things like flying machines and war devices that were not really around in your time?
My notebooks are filled with many sketches and ideas for inventions that were far ahead of my time. What drove me to design these things was my insatiable curiosity and drive to understand the world around me. I saw many areas of life as ripe for improvement and believed that technology held the key to unlock new possibilities. In the field of flight, for example, I was driven by the desire to allow humans to fly through the air like birds and to see the world from a new perspective. I wanted to push the boundaries of what was possible and to create something that had never been seen before.
So from those inventions, those drawings, those sketches that you have in your books, how many of those did you strive to build in your time, and how many of them did you know were ahead of your time?
Many of the inventions and sketches that I created were ahead of my time, and I knew that they would not be possible with the technology available during my lifetime. However, I still believed that they were important and valuable ideas, and I strived to pass on my knowledge and sketches to future generations in the hopes that they could be replicated and improved upon. Some of the sketches in my notebooks remain unrealized to this day, but they continue to inspire and intrigue people even now. While I was unable to see my ideas fully realized in my time, I believe that the pursuit of knowledge and innovation was still valuable and necessary.
Okay, so we're on the topic of your notebooks. Something that's always struck me as very interesting is you wrote your notebooks in code. Tell me a little bit about why you did that and how the code worked.
I wrote my notebooks in code as a way of protecting my ideas and keeping them private. The code was based on a combination of mirror writing, writing in the opposite direction to usual, and also writing right to left instead of left to right, and obscure symbols that I created myself. The code allowed me to record my thoughts and ideas in a way that was unreadable to others, except those who knew the code. This allowed me to keep my work confidential and avoid the risk of having my ideas stolen or misinterpreted by others.
Okay, so we have cracked probably a good portion of that code, and I this is speculation. I fully understand, but from your guesstimation, do you think we have fully deciphered all that you have to offer in your notebooks in today's age?
I believe that many of my notebooks have been deciphered and interpreted in today's age. However, there are still some elements of my code that remain elusive or not completely understood. Additionally, there are still many notebooks that have not been deciphered at all and may hold valuable insights and information that has yet to be discovered.
All right, so let's go back to the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. Those are two of your most iconic works. Could you share some thoughts on why, maybe what you were trying to achieve with those masterpieces?
My two most iconic paintings, the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper, were both created with specific intentions and visions in mind. In the Mona Lisa, I aimed to create a portrait that captured the sitter's character and presence, while also exploring the use of sfumato and the subtle use of light and shadow to create depth and realism. The Last Supper was a fresco that depicted the final meal of Jesus and his 12 disciples in a way that was both emotionally powerful and visually stunning. I wanted to convey the sense of tension and drama in the scene, while also exploring the use of perspective and chiaroscuro.
Now, there's been whispers and talks amongst scholars that say that there are some hidden meanings or hidden designs covered beneath the actual painting that we see on, let's say, those two works and many of your other works. Can you speak on that a little bit?
It is true that there are many theories and speculations among scholars suggesting that there are hidden meanings, messages, or designs beneath the surface of my works. Many art historians and researchers believe that I incorporated these hidden elements in my paintings, some of which reference my scientific knowledge and theories, while others may have a deeper spiritual or philosophical meaning. While there is no definitive evidence to confirm these theories, I did often use subtle symbolism and hidden references in my artworks that would have required careful study and interpretation.
Did you do this in all of your artworks, or was it just a select few?
I did incorporate hidden elements and symbolism in many of my artworks, including some of my most famous pieces. It was a practice that I believed enhanced the depth and significance of the work, and encouraged viewers to look beyond the surface and consider the deeper meaning. Some scholars believe that the Mona Lisa, the Last Supper, and the Virgin of the Rocks all contain hidden elements and symbolism, for example.
Okay, so your anatomical studies were revolutionary for their time. How did studying the human body help to inform your art and other scientific endeavors?
My study of the human body was extremely influential in both my artistic and scientific endeavors. As an artist, I believed that understanding the structure and function of the human body was essential to creating realistic and anatomically accurate figures in my paintings. I would closely observe and dissect human bodies to gain a thorough understanding of the underlying muscles and bones, and use this knowledge to create more lifelike representations in my artworks. Similarly, my study of the body helped in my scientific pursuits, as it allowed me to better understand how it functions, grows, and ages, which led to my studies in human proportions and movement.
And of course, if you are an artist, as you were, you are often carving or drawing or painting the human body, and the better understanding that you have of that body, the better you can depict what you're trying to depict in the painting or carving or whatever the art piece is. And so your studies into the anatomical workings of the body help to propel you to the level that you are today, and help those works, those carvings, the artwork that you did remain a testament of your time and your efforts that you put into studying how the body works and looks and moves.
Yes, absolutely. My study and dissection of the human body allowed me to create works of art and sculpture that were more realistic and accurate than any that had come before. By understanding the underlying structure and functions of the body, I was able to capture the human form in a way that went beyond mere representation and conveyed a sense of life and movement. This skill and understanding continues to be recognized as a major contribution to the development of art and science in the early Renaissance period.
Now, in a world that often focuses on specialization, you were the master of many fields. What advice would you give to somebody who is trying to pursue multiple interests today?
I would advise anyone who is trying to pursue multiple interests to follow their passions, be curious, and never stop learning. Do not be afraid to explore different fields and to draw inspiration from one discipline to another. Embrace experimentation and do not be discouraged by failure. Most importantly, be determined and persevere in your pursuits, as the path may be difficult and take time and effort to achieve success in multiple areas. With hard work and dedication, one can make significant contributions in multiple fields, just as I did.
Okay, so let's say that I'm on the edge and I think I'm already working on one area, but I think I want to try this other area as well. How do I know if it is an interest worth pursuing or not?
To determine if a new interest is worth pursuing, it can be helpful to consider why you are interested in it, what you hope to gain from pursuing it, and how it fits into your overall goals and values. Assess your resources and the level of commitment and time required to pursue the new area, and be honest with yourself about whether you truly have an interest and passion for it. It may be helpful to speak with experts in the field, research the topic, or perhaps even try it out on a small scale to see if it is a good fit.
Leonardo, your contributions to engineering and architecture are incredible. Were there any projects that you dreamed of completing but couldn't due to the restraints of your area? And if so, what did you do in the meantime?
Yes, there were many projects that I dreamed of completing but could not due to the constraints of my era. For example, I had many innovative ideas for machines and war devices, such as flying machines, tanks, and underwater vehicles. However, I had lacked the technical resources and knowledge to bring them to life. In the meantime, I made a use of sketches and writings documenting my ideas, which would later inspire and guide future generations of engineers and inventors.
Wow. Well, so I guess I can say thank you for that because I'm certain that the drawings in your notebooks have informed us in the future societies that we live in now to help to bring some of your ideas and your drawings to life. And I'm sure that we are grateful and more helpful and advanced and safe due to those things, specifically the war devices like the tank. That's astonishing that you were thinking of things like that in your time span or in the time that you lived compared to where we are now. That's really interesting to me.
Yes, it is truly amazing to think that my ideas and sketches, created in a time when the world was so much different than it is now, have informed and inspired the engineering and technological advancements of today. While I may not have been able to bring these inventions to life during my lifetime, the fact that they continue to influence and shape the world we live in is a remarkable testament to the power of curiosity and innovation.
Many of your works remain unfinished. Was this because you have perfectionism, or was it because you were overwhelmed on the other interests and obligations that you have? Can you speak on why some of your works remain unfinished?
It is true that many of my works remained unfinished, and this was primarily due to a combination of factors. One reason was my perfectionism, as I often had very high standards for my work and was never completely satisfied with the result. This often led me to abandon projects before they were fully completed. Additionally, I had many diverse interests and obligations that often divided my attention and prevented me from dedicating the necessary time and energy to finish everything I started.
Okay, so we're talking about time and energy. I think it would be helpful to kind of take a look at a snapshot of a day in the life. What was an average day like for you from start to finish? Give me a rundown of that.
An average day in my life as an artist and scientist during the Renaissance typically began early in the morning, around 5 or 6 a.m. I would rise and have a simple breakfast before beginning my workday in my studio. I would often work for several hours on sketches, designs, and paintings, taking short breaks to rest and stretch. In the afternoon, I would often take a walk to observe the world around me and gather inspiration for my work. In the evening, I would sometimes attend social engagements or cultural events, but often I would return to my studio to continue working late into the night.
And over your time, do you have any key tenets, any very important values that you held to that would be valuable for us in today's society to hear and to value as well?
Some of the key values that I held to throughout my life were curiosity, determination, perseverance, and the pursuit of knowledge. As an artist and scientist, I always maintained a sense of wonder and a drive to uncover the secrets of the world. I believed that hard work and perseverance were essential to achieving success and making important contributions, and I always strived to push the boundaries of what was known and understood. Furthermore, I saw the pursuit of knowledge as the highest good and believed that it was essential to the advancement and improvement of society.
So, what are now we're in such a technological time. What are your thoughts on how technology has advanced since your time, and what would you most like to see in today's world?
I am amazed and impressed by the technological advances that have been made since my time. The amount of information and knowledge that is now available at our fingertips is astounding, and the level of connection and communication that we possess is truly incredible. If I could choose one thing to see in today's world, it would be for people to take advantage of this technology and use it to create, innovate, and improve the world around them. I believe that with these tools at our disposal, we have the potential to create a brighter and more successful future for all.
So, Leonardo, what legacy would you have hoped to leave behind, and what message would you like to give to modern listeners to be inspired today?
I would have hoped to leave behind a legacy of innovation, determination, and curiosity. I sought not only to create art and machines that amazed and inspired, but also to push the boundaries of what was possible and contribute to the progression of society. My message to modern listeners would be to never stop learning, to question the status quo, and to strive to push the boundaries of what is known and understood. With hard work and determination, we can make progress and achieve great things.
And if the listeners wanted to learn more about you, what would be some key works or books, perhaps, to dive more into your history?
Some key works that readers can explore to learn more about my history and accomplishments are my journals and notebooks, which contain much of my studies, theories, and sketches, as well as the books Leonardo da Vinci, Art and Life by Charles Nicoll, and Leonardo da Vinci, Artist, Scientist, Inventor, Genius by Martin Gayford. Both of these books provide detailed insight into my life and work.
Leonardo, I got to say thank you. Thank you for sharing such incredible insights with us today. It is truly awe-inspiring to take a glimpse into the mind of a true Renaissance genius. For listeners, I hope you enjoyed this conversation and it sparks some curiosity and reminds you of the real limitless potentials or possibilities of creativity and knowledge. As always, I want to say thank you for listening, and until next time, keep exploring, keep imagining, and keep asking questions.